Come September, they could be testing themselves in the Bernabeu, the San Siro, or the Allianz Arena. But on Saturday, July the 15th, for Newcastle United, it will be the Gateshead International Stadium. So earlier this week, Gateshead FC announced that Newcastle United will be sending their full first team over to play us in a friendly at the Gateshead International Stadium on Saturday the 15th of July at 12:30 p.m. Now, obviously, as soon as this game was announced, demand for tickets was pretty high. The website ended up crashing a couple of times. Various people couldn't get beyond the website checkout, so certainly an unprecedented demand for tickets to from Gateshead's perspective. Anyway, fortunately, I did manage to get hold of one. Obviously, they did keep a couple back for season ticket holders, but truth be told, I've not really been in a position to be able to renew my season ticket. I am going to do it once I've got paid, but obviously right now I'm not really in that sort of position. But fortunately, I did get my hands on one. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case for several loyal Gateshead fans that'll be there when we're playing like Solihull Moors on a cold Tuesday night, etc. So I think that is a bit of a crying shame. Personally, I do feel as though the club maybe could have put given people with a previous purchase history a bit of an exclusive window before they went on a full general sale. But all the same, one thing that cannot be denied is that it is going to be a fantastic source of revenue for the club. There'll be a lot more people there than I think I've probably ever shown on this channel anyway. I think obviously the last time I saw it, where pretty much all of the ground was open, was when we played Grimsby in a playoff semi-final, and I can't believe that game was next year. It'll be a decade. I can't believe that. Time's absolutely flown by, hasn't it? But I think what we need to do in that Newcastle game, and probably in the Sunderland game as well the week before, obviously I won't be able to go to that one because I've sort of got a family event to attend that day, so it is a no-go for me, that one. But I think in both games what we need to do is make a good impression on the pitch and off the pitch as well, because I think even if it is just a very small handful, if Newcastle fans and Sunderland fans can just maybe be sitting there and be thinking, oh, this lot are actually quite good, I might come along and watch them whenever we're not playing. That could make a huge difference, because I do feel as though we need to be getting crowds of at least over 1,000 on a more consistent basis. It's all well and good. I think I said this at Wembley, where you sort of show up for the big occasion, but it's when we're playing on those cold, wet Tuesday nights against Altrincham, Solihull, Oxford City, where we'll probably will need the support that bit more. So I hope, irrespective of anything, final score or whatever, that our lads can just go out there and just put on a good show in both games and make a good all-round impression. But that is, of course, the full pre-season schedule confirmed, and of course, I think I mentioned it the other week, but I'll just sort of run you through it again. On Tuesday, July the 4th, it will be a trip to Hebden Town, which is always a nice occasion, a pretty good relationship between Naheed and Hebden. There's a really nice clubhouse there as well. It's not pretty much nothing to dislike about going there, so it's going to be a good night, that one. Then on Saturday the 8th is, of course, that Sunderland game, a game I obviously personally won't be at, as I've just touched upon, followed a week later by the Newcastle game, which fortunately I will be at, but if I hadn't sort of been on the website at that time, it probably would have been a lot different. So massively lucky there. But yeah, it is what it is. Then on Friday, the 21st of July, it is a trip to Dunstan, another annual tradition, another really nice club to visit. It should be a great night, that one. Then Tuesday, the 25th, it is a visit from Harrogate Town. So probably the game I'd say that is going to be sort of the best test for us, I think. Like, there's not really a lot between sort of mid-table to sort of lower end League Two clubs and maybe a sort of higher standard National League clubs. So I think that'll be the best test of where we're at, that one. Then we are rounding off pre-season on Friday, the 28th of July, with a trip to South Shields. Again, could be not too dissimilar to the sort of test that we will come up against in the league. Obviously, South Shields' spending power and their rise up the leagues is pretty well documented. So it's going to be a tough game, that one, but I think it could be a good game for a spectator. But then again, it is a friendly. Like, sometimes it can be a bit tedious, but I think I don't think that one will be. I think it will be a pretty decent watch, actually. So that is where Gateshead are at with pre-season. Of course, for myself, it is only 2 weeks until I'm back at football. Like, the time seems to be flying by. It doesn't seem 5 minutes since I left that Motherwell versus Dundee United game. But as it stands, in many ways, the next season is starting as the last one ended. And for the first time ever, it looks as though I'm going to be starting my season in Scotland, and a trip to a side newly promoted to the Lowland League, Linlithgow Rose. It's been a ground that's been on my radar for quite some time, I'd say. Like, obviously, we saw them in that East of Scotland Cup final, sort of back end of the 21-22 season, and their team made a good impression that day, and the ground looks an absolute belter. So it is a tradition for me to start a new season off with a new tick, and that is exactly what I'm doing. And their opponents in that game will be Whitburn Juniors. Obviously, bearing in mind, in Scottish football terms, juniors is a reference to the level that the team plays at, not the actual age of the players. Then, of course, my second game would be that game on Tuesday, the 4th of July, between Hebburn and Gateshead. Obviously, I probably won't get to any football at all the following weekend for reasons I have obviously mentioned a couple of times in this video alone. But I'll be back at it either on Tuesday the 11th or Wednesday the 12th of July. I'm not entirely sure where I'll be going, but yeah, I'm sure once a few more teams announce friendlies and what have you, I'll be able to figure it out. Then Saturday the 15th is going to be the first double header of the season, of course. So with that Gateshead against Newcastle game being an early kick-off, I'll go to a game at 3 o'clock. It'll either be Bolden CA against Durham City or Newcastle Benfield against Bedlington Terriers. I've not quite decided which one of yet, but it will be one of those two. As it stands on Tuesday the 18th of July, it's going to be Whitby Town versus South Shields. That is subject to change, just to see what other teams announce, etc. Then, of course, Friday the 21st, I will be at Dunstan, followed the following day by yet another double header. It's looking like at 2 o'clock, Shotts Bonaccord versus Vale of Clyde in a friendly. Then at 5:15, my first competitive game of the season, Motherwell versus Queen's Park. So that should make for a pretty good day, I'd say. That's not totally set in stone of yet, but as of now, that is the plan for that day. The Tuesday the 25th, it will be, of course, Gateshead versus Harrogate Town. Friday the 28th, it'll be South Shields versus Gateshead. probably am going to go because I do think it'll be a good game. And like in terms of pre-season now, I think if last year sort of taught me anything, it's not to really read into the results at all. So I think with all the friendlies, I'm just sort of gonna go and enjoy the social side of it, and hopefully see some entertaining games. And if the Heat can get a win or two, then that's just a bonus more than anything. But ultimately, I would far rather get mistakes out of our system in pre-season, then just make sure we are ready for when it really counts, which is from the 5th of August onwards. And Saturday the 29th of July is the beginning of the Northern League season. The fixtures aren't out yet, but yeah, I will be going to a Northern League game that day. And speaking of sort of dates and what have you, yesterday the FA announced the dates for each round of the FA Cup and each round of the FA Trophy. And as far as Gateshead are concerned, we will be entering the FA Cup on Saturday the 14th of October in the fourth qualifying round. The first round proper is on Saturday the 4th of November. The second round on Saturday the 2nd of December. And the third round, granted that might seem a bit optimistic of now, but you never know. Like if we get a favourable draw, or we maybe pull off a couple of upsets, it's not beyond the realms of possibility. But that will be on Saturday the 6th of January. And as far as the FA Trophy goes, we'll be entering that the third round again on the Saturday the 9th of December. The fourth round will be on Saturday the 13th of January, I believe it is. The fifth round on Saturday the 10th of February. The quarter-final on Saturday the 9th of March, and the semi-final on Saturday the 6th of April, and the final, of course, either on Saturday the 11th or Sunday the 12th of April. The FA on the 12th of the 11th or 12th of May, sorry. But the FA are sort of weighing up like between non-league finals day and the Women's FA Cup final. So which spot on Saturday, which spot on Sunday. I mean, personally, if we are to get to the FA Trophy final again, I would prefer it to be on the Saturday, because I think that just works better for everyone, really, especially with, obviously, you have the FA Vars final early in the day, so that naturally the FA Trophy final has to kick off that little bit later. So I think for the sake of like potential sort of northern teams in either final and what have you, I do think it would make more sense for non-league finals day to be on a Saturday. But that's just my personal opinion. I like the concept of non-league finals day, but I do think there are sort of areas that do need to improve, such as maybe allowing like fans to leave in between games, like maybe if they get the hand stamped at the exit or whatever, maybe have a little bit more to do in the stadium. And I think, yeah, a Saturday just would be better. Like, you obviously got to consider like fans sort of getting back on the trains. Like, the chances are not as many would need to be in work the next day. So I think it'd just be better for everyone, really, if it was a Saturday. But that's just my sort of personal opinion. But I've sort of said what I feel as I need to say. And in terms of like sort of Gateshead league games that could be affected by the cup competitions, I'll have a little chat about those once the fixtures come out on Wednesday the 5th of July. And I am going to be making a video that day sort of reacting to the fixtures and what it all means for us going forward. And I think maybe the day after I'll sort of outline my full intentions for the season ahead in terms of what I'm doing in terms of European trips, games in the EFL, just my season in general. I mean, it'll be a little bit sort of ironic that I'm doing it after I've seen 2 games already, but like it's totally pointless planning until Gateshead's fixtures have come out, isn't it? But that is that for this video, and I'll be back at some point during the week with with I guess maybe another sort of update of whatever's to come in the coming week, whether that be new players coming in or if there's any other news to talk about. But until then, take care, cheers for watching, and I'll see you later.